Some news out of Berea. Earlier today, Jarvis Landry activated off the injured list, designated for return. That means he can practice with the team. He still may play Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. Kevin Stefanski wouldn't rule that out. But Kevin Stefanski did rule out Nick Chubb. Chubb out for the game against the Cardinals, as is Malcolm Smith. Kevin Stefanski would not rule out the possibility that Nick Chubb would go on IR. That would mean he must miss a minimum of 3 games. Still trying to figure that out and see. Also, a number of players listed as questionable. Nick Chubb listed as questionable wrist injury. Jarvis Landry, he returned, could play. Kareem Hunt listed as questionable. J.C. Tretter listed as questionable. Tack McKinley, Greg Newsome, Denzel Ward, all listed as questionable. Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin, the 2 starting tackles, listed as questionable. You get the idea here. Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett, and M.J. Green, all listed as questionable. It is believed that the defensive backs, Ward, Newsome, as well as Greedy Williams, will be available. And Myles Garrett, again, believes he will play. Jadeveon Clowney trending in the right way, but the official designation is questionable. Let's welcome in Jeff Risdon from BrownsWire.com. That is like a Bill Belichick injury report on a Friday. The big news, though, Nick Chubb out, Jarvis Landry not ruled out yet. So those are 2 things to weigh. And it's important to note the Browns have a game again Thursday, so it's a short week. And with a calf injury, which is what Nick Chubb has, you take that very carefully with a guy who you want to have running the football.
Yeah, absolutely. You need him in. That list you read, it's almost easier to list the players that aren't questionable than are, and that's a tough time. Look, there's a lot of teams that are banged up. The Cardinals are also banged up, and they will tell you that they're just as injured as the Browns are. So, it is what it is at this time of year. But the 2 games in 5 days like that really stresses it. That makes it much more likely, and it does make more sense to have Chubb sit then. If he's not going to go on IR, possibly you bring him back on Thursday night and see what happens with that. But yeah, I woke up this morning with the good news that Jarvis Landry was being designated for return. They have up to 3 weeks to bring him back. If he's not activated after 21 days, he will be out for the rest of the season, but it's much more likely that he's active this week and certainly Thursday. Again, with the short time frame between the 2 games, Sunday is pushing it, but he could be out there, and they could certainly use the boost from it. But yeah, it's you get the good news, and then it just gets washed away by the tidal wave of questionable injuries there.
And when you talk about Jarvis Landry, Browns fans tend to forget they haven't had Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry in the lineup together yet this season as we approach, the 6th game of the year.
Yeah, and they have the chemistry together, and I do think that there is something to the fact that they were friends at LSU. They're very good friends off the field now. That Jarvis does bring out the better in OBJ. I do think we've seen that Jarvis can be fine without him, but when they were together last year, and it wasn't long then either. Was the best that we've seen Odell Beckham and really the best that we've seen from Odell in several years, going back into his Giants time. So I'm excited to get that to happen with all the injuries on defense, with the offensive tackles being questionable as they are, and the depth being challenged around any playmakers that you can get on the field, and a chance to score from a 70-yard pass, because you're not going to get the 70-yard run with Chubb gone, unfortunately. Bring it on, man. We need all the help we can get. All hands on deck.